Hey guys, Dr Kahu here and welcome back to my channel. Now today I'm going to be doing a continuation to the broken what if that I created, and that is, what if Naruto got stuck in Sage Mode, part 5. Now as usual guys, if you guys can please like and subscribe, leave your comments down below, leave the bell notification on so you guys can be the first to get my new content, and follow me on Discord too, which I'll leave a link in the description so you can copy and paste on Discord, add me on there, and if it's still pending I'll add you later on from 8 PM to 8:30 PM New Zealand Standard Times. Okay guys, and not only that guys, I appreciate the fact that you guys have been following my stream. You guys are really cool, and thank you guys all so much for your support, and I hope you guys enjoy the rest of the week and the weekend that is about to come. Okay guys, so awesome. But without further ado guys, let's get into this next part of the broken world that I created, and that is, what if Naruto got stuck in Sage Mode, part 5. So let's begin. Quick recap on what happened previously. Due to the fact that Naruto defeated Tsuneri, he used the rest of the power that he got from Tsuneri's Byakugan eyes to revive some of the Otsutsuki clan that were on the moon, so to give Tsuneri back what he had lost, due to the fact that Madara summoning the Gedo statue to Earth kind of took away Tsuneri's people's job to guard the Gedo statue. So for that penance, Naruto helped and revived some of the old Otsutsukis on the moon, and so in doing so Naruto and Hina come back, and of course they go through their I must say their really weird sequence of jumping through and expressing each other's love to each other, and from there we end up into the Boruto era. Okay guys, so let's begin. Now Naruto being Naruto, he becoming the 7th Hokage, he actually has a dramatic change in this world, to be honest, because he's not so tired, profoundly tired, due to the fact that he passively also always generates Sage Mode. Naruto is always home as much as he's around all the village helping out, and this does two things really good. Himawari is happy to see her dad, and Boruto gets to see his dad more often. Okay, but not only that, because Kakashi has a son named Obito, okay, with Shizune. He himself always looks after Naruto, or plays with Naruto's kids and Sakura's child, you know, and so Sasuke's kid, I mean, and so they're all much more different in canon, to be honest. And so as the story progresses with them, Naruto trains Boruto himself. He makes Boruto stronger, and bear in mind, because Naruto is passively absorbing nature energy, Boruto and Himawari have a natural connection to Sage energy, because thanks to Naruto being born with her. But what ends up happening is Boruto wakes up one day with something in his eye. First he didn't know what it was, and he believed it was the Byakugan, but he kept it to himself this time. He's not some stupid egotistical kid. He realizes the merits of being a good child, to be honest. He's not so out there over dramatic, whiny. Nah, this Naruto is still exciting, but this Boruto is still excited with everything, but he had the life that Naruto didn't have. And so every day Boruto trained with Naruto. He got to spend time with his dad. Even when Naruto became Hokage, Boruto was really happy to have him around. And not only that, Sarada got to spend a lot of time with Sasuke, due to the fact that he can use the Rinnegan abilities really easy and doesn't run out of chakra at all, to be honest, when it comes to it. Because bear in mind, he still has his what's it called, 6 pass abilities, so his ability to teleport through in and out of the village works out for him. And so with Boruto and Sarada growing up close and having their friend Obito around with them, they go through their life much better. Sarada understands the notion of the Sharingan, she understands the notion of the Mongekyo and how to unlock it. Boruto understands the principles of Shadow Clones, he understands the principles of the Rasengan, but most importantly he understands the principles of the Sage Mode, okay? Because Boruto always asks his dad, how come you don't have blue eyes, Dad? Naruto just explains, his power came at a cost, he lost his blue eyes. And not only that, Boruto is very aware of the nine-tailed fox within Naruto, or the other nine-tailed beast. It's just something Naruto wanted to show his son, to let him know this is what he has, and eventually either you will keep this power and pass it down through the time, through the ages, even with him, Mawari and all them. And Boruto's like really sharp that understands the pressure maybe of having these tailbeats. But Naruto just taps his son in the head and makes him realize that you don't need to worry about this right for now, okay? This is my, not burden, but my job. Kuruma talks to Naruto and goes, burden, we're a burden to you, eh, Naruto? Naruto's not like that, eh? Not like that, Kuruma. Come on. Kuruma laughs at the situation. And so as Naruto, he continues on with their life in the Boruto era. Boruto is actually quite talented. Him and Sarada are actually way more talented than they are in canon. Unfortunately for Sarada, she's not as good as Boruto, because bear in mind, Boruto's dad has more power, and Boruto has shoes to fill. But what ends up happening is when Naruto and them are at breakfast, and Boruto's eyes changes into the Jogan towards Naruto notices it. He notices it right away. And him and Hinata look at each other, and when Boruto looks with the eye, he sees chakra pathways everywhere, he sees all around the room. Unlike Himawari, who has the Byakugan properly, when Naruto and Hinata sees this, they're unsure and they ask Boruto, when your eye activates, what happens? Boruto explains exactly what the Byakugan does, but in a different degree. Boruto sees weak points in everything when it comes to it, and he sees kinetic movement, and this actually shocks Naruto and Hinata. And so they go to take Boruto to Hiyashi to reconfirm upon the dojutsu. And so when Boruto has to go and fight his grandfather, it's Hanabi that puts Boruto to the test. Now bear in mind, this is a more powerful Boruto who's more disciplined and has actual time with Naruto. So when he goes to fight Hanabi, he's actually way more unorthodox, using shadow clones for most of his fighting varieties, to be honest. Neji's watching on, he just stands back and looks on. But at first Boruto doesn't even get close to even activating the eye. But when he gets back to a corner where Hanabi does the rotation, Boruto's eye activates briefly, and this is when Neji notices it. And Boruto gets knocked onto the ground, and Neji goes, I saw what happened to his eye. He looks over and goes, that's unlike a Byakugan, but it has the same traits. And so Neji just puts it down to, maybe it's because of your powers, Naruto. Boruto is half Hyuga after all, and your own abilities mixing with his Hyuga DNA allows for him to possibly have a brand new dojutsu. And Naruto goes, huh? Really? Brand new? And he goes, well, unlike my niece Himawari, who has actually the Byakugan. And he smiles at her. And Boruto may have something different entirely. And Naruto goes, I understand. Hyuga and Naruto have their moment, but this is with Neji as well, when they discuss what to do. But Naruto goes, the moment anything comes up, I'll bring Boruto here and see what we can do. He actually takes Naruto, and so does Neji. And then they leave off, and Naruto does his Hokage stuff, and Boruto goes back to school and everything like that. This is when he tells his friend that he may have his own form of dojutsu. He doesn't know what it's called yet, but he's looking forward to figuring it out over a period of time. Now bear in mind, in this what if, Minsky still exists here. Orochimaru is a friend to the village in a sense, with the hidden sound, and to be honest, he's way too afraid to move against Naruto. Naruto will just kill him immediately if that was the case, and even Sasuke. And so when Minsky comes to the village, everyone knows, even Konohamaru knows that Minsky is the son of Orochimaru, or is the son of Orochimaru, but the children are not defined by their appearance, and so no one judges Minsky at all. Boruto has heard of Minsky because bear in mind he knows of Jiraiya, Naruto sensei, unorthodox sensei. But anyway, as the story progresses on for them, Boruto has similar encounters and similar direct missions in the academy and all that jazz, up until the point when the Chunin exam happens. And Boruto and them go to the point where they're actually really good, profoundly good. Boruto is not a cheater in this world, to be honest. As I stated, he's not a whiny little brat. Having his dad around, helping him, being there, turned Boruto into something that Naruto wished he had. And so Boruto is really talented, and all his skills are put to the test to the point where Naruto teaches Boruto the flying Raijin. Understanding that Boruto is talented enough to use this jutsu, just like his dad was, and he shows Boruto the Rasengan, but Boruto can't grasp the Rasengan yet, but he's slowly but surely trying to, okay, and so they'll play a factor in his future. But what happens is, like in canon though, Boruto does ask his uncle Sasuke if he can be his teacher, and Sasuke asks Boruto, can you make the Rasengan? And he makes a mini one, and when he sees the mini Rasengan, Sasuke kind of laughs at it, and Boruto chucks it. This is when Sasuke's actually surprised that Boruto even knows how to chuck the Rasengan. But when he sees it, Boruto's Rasengan not only breaks the tree, it's not only just a normal vanishing Rasengan, but it obliterates the tree. And this is when Sasuke realizes that this kid has a lot of talent. So Sasuke accepts Boruto as a student, on the condition that he masters the Rasengan that he has. And so a period of time before the Chunin exam actually get underway, he was training with Sarada as well. And so as all that jazz is happening and Boruto and them are readying themselves for the Chunin exams, what ends up happening is, back in space and all around the world, Urashiki is actually gathering intel for the Otsutsuki. And what happens, while he's flying around the earth, Tsunade is doing his best to keep Momoshiki and Kinshiki away. He was actually trying his best for a while. But what ended up happening is, after a while, Momoshiki and Kinshiki broke free of Tsunade's, I think, dimensional block of him. And Urashiki seals him in the 10,000 year kingdom or whatever he does, the jutsu, sealing him in time. In doing so, this allowed for free reign for Momoshiki and Kinshiki onto the planet, but Momoshiki openly detests Urashiki. He doesn't really like him. And as they go down, he goes to the nearest and most massive chakra, which is Killer Bee. They find Killer Bee and they have an epic battle, but Killer Bee's smart. When Momoshiki begins to absorb, Octopops cuts off one of his tails and allows him to drop to the bottom of the water, having Killer Bee inside and the piece of Octopop's body within it, means it will allow for him to regrow and gather his chakra again. But they stay in place until Momoshiki, Kinshiki, and Urashiki is left, and this plays a big factor. So at the moment they leave, Killer Bee floats up, and this is when he gets Octopops to to explain to Naruto and it will tell Beast what has occurred, and they all warn the villagers that they are near. And so when everyone gets a warning that Otsutsukis are on the planet, all these weird beings with white skin are absorbing chakra, Naruto understands exactly what they are, and he actually gets the whole perimeter ready. He tells Sasuke to come back to the village, because bear in mind they both are connected to each other through their suns and moon seals. Sasuke immediately appears back to the village. Bear in mind also Kakashi lives in the village still, with Shizune and their child. And so as situations occur from there, the Chunin exams proceeds apace no matter what. All the 5 Kage are in Konoha, and all their villagers come, and so Boruto, Sarada, and Mitsuki they obliterate all the competition, to be honest, to the point where they make it to the Chunin exams final. Mitsuki still loses to Shinken, only the fact because he's still not allowed to use a sage mode. And when it comes to Sarada and Boruto versus Shinken, that's a dramatically different story. Sarada's really quick and really fast and is able to dodge all his attacks. But the only problem she faces is getting close to him to use her abilities, so she uses her lightning style, lightning ball jutsu, to try to distract as much as she can, while Boruto rushes over and does his real powerful Rasengan. But what happens when Boruto slams the Rasengan into Shinken's iron sand, Shinken tries to protect himself from it, but Boruto does a vanishing Rasengan and presses it with all his force forward, completely blowing Shinken's sand away, almost actually hitting Shinken, to be honest. But shockwave was enough to blow him onto the side, enough for Sarada to jump in, grab him and put him into a powerful genjutsu. And Shinken, he eventually breaks out of it, but he doesn't realize that in breaking out of it, he put himself in a super vulnerable position. Boruto had 5 Shadow Clones rush him. Bear in mind, Boruto can use Shadow Clones even more than what he can in canon. And what happens is Boruto starts to prepare his jutsu, the Flying Raijin. Bear in mind, this Boruto can use the Flying Raijin because Naruto taught him how to do so. And I'm gonna state that Naruto can teach him because he has the scroll of ceilings and he has all the information of all the past. Like he understands practically everything. He wants to learn exactly what his dad learned, you know. So Boruto will have exactly what Naruto teaches him, and that's the flying Raijin, definitely. And so as Boruto rockets with all the shadow clones, he performs the jutsu, and all 5 shadow clones chuck kunai towards Shinken. He manages to block it, but he doesn't realize how vulnerable he is, because thanks to Sarada chucking one of Boruto's other kunai behind him, he was actually open from the attack from the beginning, and Boruto goes, "Here we go, level 1!" Bounces backwards and forth between all the shadow clones. Kunais, and this shocks Shinken. He tries to dodge, and when Gaara and them see this, they're quite impressed that Boruto is so fast. Now bear in mind, thanks to Boruto training with Sasuke, he has learned to amplify his speed and movements with the lightning chakra, and so he starts to increase his movements. Doing level 1, level 2, jumping around. Shinken attacking his defenses to the point when he gets to level 5, he already powers up a vanishing Rasengan and slams it into it again. Shinken sees this and he makes the giant iron hands and crushes the Boruto, but it's just a shadow clone. He's like, "What the?" And the real Boruto is behind him with a fully powered Rasengan. He slams it into what's it called, Shinken's gut, which destroys all the sand, hitting him in his chest. Boruto made sure he compressed it enough and removed as much chakra from it as he can so he doesn't kill Shinken. But as it hits him, it blows him away, hits the side of the wall, and immediately it gets knocked out. Now Boruto's Jogon briefly activated in this scenario, and what happens is after doing so, the finalist was Boruto and Sarada, and so they were the ones that had to fight at the end. So with Shinken out, it's just the 2 of them, and as they're ready, Naruto senses something, so does Sasuke. Naruto instantly makes 100 shadow clones and tells everyone to quietly leave. Everyone said, what's the matter? And Naruto goes, "They're here." All the 5 Kage understand what Naruto meant because he briefed them all. Sasuke's there too, waiting in the shadows. He's the man, of course, and so is Kakashi. Bear in mind, Kakashi is a little bit younger thanks to him absorbing the 6-part power from Madara's body, and he's got his own Momoshiki Sharingan, his 6-part Momoshiki Sharingan, so he's powerful as well. Well, not compared to Sasuke and Naruto, but he's still massively powerful. But anyway, as Naruto senses it, 2 shadow clones drop by Boruto and Sarada and tell them that you guys did fine, but the Chunin exams are over. And Boruto, "What do you mean, Dad?" And what happens is Momoshiki and Kinshiki appear, and Momoshiki kicks Naruto's shadow clone, and kicking Naruto's shadow clone, the real Naruto appears. Momoshiki tries to dodge it, but Naruto was way too fast. It instantly slams him in the back with a Rasengan, hitting him onto the ground. And then Naruto grabs Boruto, and Sasuke grabs Sarada, and in doing so, Momoshiki and Kinshiki Momoshiki's trying to recover, and Kinshiki's trying to attack. But what ends up happening is Kakashi immediately appears, creates a Susanoo hand, and backhands Kinshiki into the wall. And Sasuke grabs Sarada, and what happens is all the villagers manage to get out of the arena. But what happens is Naruto immediately puts a barrier around the entire arena using the 4 Crimson Ray formation as one with Shadow Clones, and Naruto lands. Urashiki's been caught in this formation too, and Naruto makes sure he puts a seal on the ground to make sure there's no space-time ninjutsu outside of Sasuke's Rinnegan. So none of these Otsutsuki, so all 3 Otsutsukis are trapped within the barrier. The 5 Kage are there too, ready to fight. But what happens is the 5 Kage fight Urashiki, knowing that Kinshiki and Momoshiki Naruto and Sasuke's fight. And so they all fight off Urashiki with Kakashi's help. And Naruto and Sasuke, after securing Boruto and Sarada, they land back, and what happens is Naruto floats down, and Sasuke immediately teleports or appears on the ground. Now when Momoshiki and Kinshiki look at them, Momoshiki pissed off that Naruto had dared hurt him and burnt his gut and destroyed his robes. Momoshiki, without hesitating, tries his best to even use all the chakra that he absorbed to attack Naruto. But Naruto, thanks to him having the Sun Seal and Sasuke as well, Naruto just absorbed all the chakra that was expended at him, and so does Sasuke. And this shocks them. Their ring doesn't even get destroyed. Bear in mind that the full Crimson Ray formation is around, so they can't just break it through. And this is when Kinshiki starts to use his ninja tools to fight. Naruto and Sasuke look at each other, and Sasuke immediately blitzes the Kinshiki, He begins to fight him. Bear in mind, Sasuke is actually at least 3 times stronger than he is in canon, 3 to 4 times stronger than he is in canon. Because 1, he's got his arm, which is a massive benefit. 2, he has the moon seal. And 3, he has been training a long time with his power, so he's really proficient and he's much stronger with more chakra. And so Sasuke begins to attack Kinshiki, and they presses him a lot. This is when Naruto walks over and fights Momoshiki. Momoshiki looks at Naruto, and Naruto immediately blitzes them, and they begin to fight in the taijutsu battle. But the taijutsu battle itself is actually way more in Naruto's favor, to the fact where it comes to Furokumite, it's the sage energy around that affects Momoshiki. So every time Momoshiki even tries to push or dodge any of Naruto's attacks, he is met with a stern sage mode punch that sends him flying. Naruto is just really fast. He speed blitzes Momoshiki to the point where he grabs Momoshiki's head, and after the second punch, slams him into the ground again. Naruto stomps on him. Momoshiki gets angry that a vulgar creature is doing this to him. He tries to get back up, but Naruto stomps his head into the ground again and tells him, "What are you guys doing here anyway? And what did you guys do to Toneri?" Momoshiki goes, "Who, the man on the moon?" Naruto kicks Momoshiki's face so hard that he slams into the barrier, and he's actually noticeably injured. When Kinshiki sees this, he tries to push Sasuke away, but Sasuke is just way too strong, to the point where Sasuke stabs his sword into Kinshiki's body, pulls it out, kicks Kinshiki into the barrier. Sasuke immediately jumps up, smashes Kinshiki down with a black lightning blade. Kinshiki gets noticeably, they both are noticeably hurt right from the get-go. And Naruto and Sasuke stand side by side. Kinshiki is really injured, and so is Momoshiki. But Momoshiki pulls out chakra pills and begins to eat them. Naruto goes, "What a useful technique. I wonder if I could do that." Momoshiki goes, "How dare you, little vulgar creature? How dare you?" Momoshiki looks around to try and even the scores, but he looks and sees that Urashiki is being pushed back so bad by these vulgar creatures that he tries to teleport away. But Kakashi is just there. Kakashi with his black lightning blade immediately hurts Urashiki as well, to the point where he teleports past Urashiki's body with his Kamui lightning blade, severely hurting Urashiki. And Gaara immediately uses the ability to lock him in place. And this is when Kakashi, grabs him with the Susanoo and starts to crush him. Urashiki is really pissed off as well, and he tries to use his time space ability, but it doesn't happen. It instead reappears into Kakashi's Susanoo hand. He's like, "What the hell?" And he goes, "You have not noticed? Look down." He looks down and notices the seal. It's like, "How is that possible? How do you guys have such powers to do so?" And what happens is Kakashi goes, "Let's just say Naruto has been waiting for you guys' arrival for a bit now." And Kakashi holds Urashiki in place, and Gaara, uses some more of his chakra to seal Urashiki in position for now, holding him there. And so as Gaara and the 5 Kage have Urashiki there with Kakashi, they look on to watch Naruto and Sasuke fight Momoshiki and Kinshiki. Momoshiki is really pissed off now. The reason why they can't leave this area is due to the seal on the ground, and he tries to absorb the seal with his Rinnegan, but Naruto sees this, appears, kicks Momoshiki right in the face. Kinshiki goes to attack Naruto. This is when Naruto goes into KCM2 6-bar stage mode and catches the axe that Kinshiki has, and Naruto crushes it with his hand. Sasuke immediately appears and kicks Kinshiki right in the face, making him crater on top of Momoshiki. Momoshiki backhands Kinshiki off him, and he's so angry. And what he does is he goes, "I have no choice." He opens both his hands, or opens one of his hands, and absorbs Kinshiki, and then absorbs Urashiki, just for measure, and turns them both into one big chakra fruit, and then he eats down on it. Naruto and Sasuke are looking on. Sasuke appears and tries to cut off Momoshiki's head. Momoshiki goes too late, and as Momoshiki explodes with power, Naruto and Sasuke, Sasuke gets in a unique position away. Naruto removes the seal, understanding that this battle is going to actually go wild and they actually need to go full power. And in doing so, Naruto removes the seal and goes, "Sasuke!" Sasuke opens a portal, and Naruto uses his ability to open the portal wider. And as Momoshiki breaks through, Naruto and Sasuke both kick him through the portal, and they both fly through. And flying through, they appear in the area where they were battling once at the Great Ninja War, where the Ten Tails once was. And when Momoshiki gets set flying, Naruto and Sasuke land. Momoshiki is really pissed off. Bear in mind that Sasuke can take on this form of Momoshiki and so does Naruto. And now that they're not hampered by the Konoha, what's it called? The witnesses that are going to be watching the fight is Kakashi and the rest of the 5 Kage. They all jump to the portal too. And in doing so, they stand watch as one to see what happens. Sasuke and Naruto look on, and Sasuke takes off his cloak. And what happens is both of Naruto and Sasuke smile. Black lightning starts to erupt around Sasuke, much similar to the Raikage's lightning cloak, but in a different sense. And as Naruto and Sasuke look up at Momoshiki begins to attack, but Naruto and Sasuke speed blitz immediately, and they both begin to fight. And bear in mind, if Sasuke is 4 times stronger than he is in canon, how much do you think Naruto is? I understand that there's a massive gap between Sasuke and Naruto. Dramatically, Naruto still has all the tail beasts within him. He has his real strong 6-path Sage mode, and because he's always in Sage mode, he's always passively absorbing it, so is Kurama. And so when he begins to fight, the fight is as epic as it is in canon, where they have their mean as battle, but then Momoshiki starts to get overwhelmed to the point where Naruto and Sasuke begin to bloody beat him down badly. They don't need ninjutsu, they use taijutsu on Momoshiki to the point where he gets pushed back dramatically. He gets kicked down, smashed into the ground, and then he tries to grab Naruto and hurt him, but the chakra rods, when Naruto pulls out 2 second orbs, breaks Momoshiki's chakra rods like they're nothing. Momoshiki realizes that Naruto has the exact same power as an Otsutsuki, if not way greater, and Sasuke is also the same as well, so he's like, picked the wrong fight. He tries to time space away, but Naruto goes, haven't you not noticed? Naruto put a seal on Momoshiki's back, locking him into this time space, and this frustrates him, so he grabs all his chakra pills and eats them all, and he makes one massive Biju bomb, and he chucks it at Naruto. Naruto smiles and goes, really? And what he does is Naruto puts his sun seal up, but instead of absorbing it, instead Naruto goes, I got one better. He puts his hands together and opens it up, and Naruto goes, compressed Rasengan. And as Naruto does it, it's a black Rasengan. He opens it up, it gets bigger and bigger, and then Naruto opens both hands and shoots this compressed Rasengan. When it hits the Momoshiki's Biju bomb, what ends up happening is it hits it, and then Naruto's Rasengan expands immediately, compressing and sucking the entire Biju bomb in, and then Naruto kicks his own Rasengan that's absorbing Momoshiki's one right at Momoshiki. All Momoshiki can do is just briefly dodge it and lose half his arm, the arm that absorbs chakra, and this hurts him so badly. He's like, what the? Sorry. He loses the arm that absorbs chakra, and he's looking at himself like he's so scared right now, because he thought he could have dodged it. He didn't realize that Naruto had the jutsu like that. Sasuke was surprised too. Naruto appeared by Momoshiki, grabbing his hair and slamming him to the ground. And Momoshiki was so shocked by that, he tries everything he can, but Naruto and Sasuke are just too much for him. They overwhelm his defenses immediately to the point where Momoshiki is pushed back to a corner. Sasuke holds a black light in his hand. Naruto holds a Shikaku sealing Rasengan. Naruto goes, now if I kill you, I wonder what would happen if we killed you. Momoshiki gets angry. What makes you think you can? Naruto goes, no! Without hesitating, Sasuke speed blitzes Momoshiki and appears behind him, and Naruto rushes. Momoshiki turns and reacts to Sasuke. Naruto makes a shadow clone. The shadow clone, Sasuke smiles, and Momoshiki tries to stab at Sasuke, but Sasuke swap places with the shadow clone. Shadow clone grabs Momoshiki's arm and goes, gotcha. Both Sasuke and Naruto appear on either other side of him, and they both slam their 6-path jutsu right at Momoshiki, severely hurting him to the point where he screams in absolute pain. And Naruto turns his hand, locking Momoshiki in place. As the Shikaku seal moves over him, Momoshiki erupts with all his might, What he ends up doing, he explodes more and more, pushes all his chakra out just to try to break the seal, and this slightly sends both Sasuke and Naruto flying. But Naruto chucks 2 second orbs through Momoshiki, piercing all his body, and then Sasuke does planetary devastation, 6-path planetary devastation, locking Momoshiki in place. What ends up happening is, in having these 2 second orbs locked in his body, Naruto, what he does, he seals Momoshiki's body with these 2 second orbs, and then Sasuke's Chupaku Tensei, or planetary devastation, locks Momoshiki in place. In doing so, Naruto runs up, chucks multiple 2 second orbs to seal it even more, using the chakra he absorbed from Momoshiki originally To do so, he realized how to do it, and he uses his ability to lock Momoshiki in place. And now they have a miniature moon. Momoshiki is forever trapped in this moon until someone releases him. This miniature moon. In doing so, Naruto goes, what are we going to do with this? Sasuke goes, kill him right now. Naruto goes, no. And killing him right now, I think he has ulterior motives for them. And so what happens is Naruto makes a space-time portal with the help of Sasuke to the moon. And there he appears right in front of Toneri. Naruto at first couldn't undo the jutsu until he put the sun seal on Toneri's head. And it instantly releases Toneri from the jutsu. Naruto goes, I defeated the being. We defeated the beings that locked you here. And here's the main one. Toneri grabs uses his ability to grab the moon from the miniature moon that Naruto has and takes it within the moon and locking him in the same place the Geto statue was locked. Bear in mind, this moon, this little tiny miniature moon, is not as big as, it's as small as a tailed beast, to be honest. It's super compressed. It's a black moon. Naruto's true-seeking orbs are locked around it, perfectly sealed, holding Momoshiki in place. And when Momoshiki is locked, he can't do nothing. He can't absorb the chakra. He can't do nothing. He can't even expel chakra. Naruto put true-seeking orbs through his body and locking him in place, using Shukaku seal on his body and using the true-seeking orbs around it, and then Sasuke using his own planetary devastation to lock him in place, and then Naruto puts a double lock on it. And then so when Toneri holds him there, he puts it through a space-time barrier, keeping him in place, but similar to what Urashiki did to him. Naruto thanks Toneri, and Toneri thanks Naruto, and so what happens is Sasuke goes, so this is the moon, how cool. And then Naruto smiles, yeah, this is the moon. And then from there, Sasuke and Naruto teleport back down to Earth. Bear in mind, Momoshiki had put no curse seal on no karma seal, so he is stuffed for the time being. Now, once this happens, the whole world praises Sasuke, Naruto, and the 5 Kage, and Kakashi, and from there, the Boruto story continues. And that's where I'm going to leave this, guys. I hope you like this. Please like and subscribe, leave your comments down below, leave the bell notification on so you guys will be the first to get my new content, and of course follow me on Discord as I stated in the beginning, okay guys? But thank you guys so much, and have you guys have a good weekend. But as usual guys, this is Dr. Kahu saying peace.